Okay, so I wanted you guys to just get the reference. This is a real, this is through the internet that they were able to catch, and some people were in denial, but this is actually a real event. And this is what I was also seeing telepathically. They were going in circles, and this is what it looks like. So you can see them coming in. They're taking everybody out at the whole time, and it's like this is only a short video of it, but this is how quickly they were doing that all at one time. I'm gonna go back a little bit. So this is MH370, a Boeing 77, and you can see the orbs. And they're as big as a minivan and car. They're huge. That's how big they are. They were beaming them out all at the same time, and it's just simply hovering. And then you'll see the blip in a second. So when that happened, it reappeared on the surface of the water, and it slowed, and most of the plane kept stayed intact. It was brittle, but it still stayed intact and flowed into on top of the water and then down to the bottom of the ocean. And that way, that it wasn't incredibly damaged that it would have been. Alrighty.
Hi, my name is Walker Valsius. I'm a metaphysical practitioner. I run consultations for people who want to learn about their past history and their past lives, their abilities, and what's going on currently right now. And I also help them understand the truth of creation. But also at the same time, I also do different aspects of look-ins and telepathic looks, opinion, these are my opinion, to look at what happened. And I wanted to bring this to the surface to a lot of people, especially for the families, to get closure. So those passengers were found; they're safe. It was originally the pilot was had a suicide mission, and it's essentially his plan was to go on a huge, long descent up into the air, high enough to the point where there's oxygen deprivation, and the G-force hits everybody, knocks them out, and then he was able to crash into the ocean. Well, that was stopped, not fully stopped, but the ETs got involved because it happened, and they went back into the past to stop it fully. So when they did that, you'll see those three orbs circling around the plane, and that was them grabbing the passengers and getting them all out. And that was the first main mission. And the second mission it was to find a man that had information from Area 51 S4. He took it without their consent, and he was bringing it to another group of scientists and engineers to bring this free energy to the rest of the world. The problematic Anunnaki did not want that to happen. So pretty much, this is a. They came in, they took everyone they could. 226 people were saved. They're on a ship with the ETs. They've been with them this whole time. They will meet their families. They will tell their own stories. I am just helping this information to get out and for people to find it, for to understand what happened with MH370. For now, let's look into. I'm gonna try to get back into it. And that they say they did their job, and the 12 people who passed, including the captain, they couldn't get to him because it was already too late. And they're the way they put a field around it, and they were able to kind of like they had a tractor beam, like they even get tractor beam to follow something. That's how they do it. They took all the people and just beam them out. And so there was one lady who kind of went a little haywire because she was just a whole new, just like did not expect this to happen, and she just went crazy. They put her to sleep for a bit. She's fine now, but this is like to understand like this was unexpected. This is not something that was planned at all. And when that happened during the descent, they took the plane and actually kept it from crashing the water just horrendously. They placed it softly into the water. So when you see it encircling and you see it pop out, that's them taking the plane and then moving it to the surface of the water and then slowing down because it was already going down. So they just say, okay, just let's, if it's easier for us to place it into the water than for it to be destroyed completely. So when that happened, they floated to the bottom of the ocean, and it was just been sitting there. Well, there's a couple things that needs to be understood. We have problematic Anunnaki ETs who had control of the base of Area 51, and they didn't want that information out there because he took it from there. He was bringing it to people in Asia. Essentially, they sent 8 Anunnaki beings. They're like lizard peoples. They're strong. If you look at Jupiter ascending, and if you look at those bodies of the reptilians, that's what they look like. Very, very similar to that. And they went in, went to the bottom of the ocean. They had apparatus to be able to breathe, but they're able to deal with the pressure. It's deep in the ocean. And they were able to go and create a hole. So when you people found it, the humans found it afterwards, there was a hole in the middle. And that hole was torn into by them. And they went into the aircraft, tearing everything up, trying to find it. They didn't care who. They just wanted to find that information because it was so dire for them to not let the people of Earth get free energy and that information, because then they can't get their Benjamins, they can't get their money, can't scam people, they can't control people. So it's a whole thing. It's all dealt with. A lot of those families are gone now, but it's like a real big thing for them, and they couldn't find it, and they took what they wanted, but other than that, they left everything else for the humans to find. It was found by the governments shortly after. It wasn't that long after. Like, we're talking, like, honestly, a few months in. And years afterwards, they just did more checks. A lot of those other searches, except for the Armada, which has recently come out this past month, I was going in and searching. That particular ship had millions of dollars of special equipment that was able to get all that data. Most of that data is not allowed. It's not even divulged to the public, and everyone's confused of why is that not being released. So in that aspect, now that we understand that the problematic Anunnaki went in, they took what they wanted, but they couldn't get anything. The black box was cut. The wires, not just any wires, it was specific wires to the black box and transponder. Because then that transponder was giving out the frequency of actually, hey, here we are, same thing for the black box. He knew which wires to cut, that way that information would not be known. Because he didn't want anyone known. That's why he went out into the Indian Ocean. It was easier. Because that descent was so high up, it was just kind of like a slow down. But it was just like, if you look at Malaysia, when it flew up, it went up like this, and then went into the Indian Ocean, and then went all the way that way. So that's why, because they were supposed to go around and then go up north to, I believe it was Korea. I forget which one. But in that aspect, when I was looking at that, I was kind of confused. I was like, what? But he did that, and I saw his mind. He left a letter for people to read, and that letter was very mean and rude. There was no point of people. That's why, if you will hear about it, that the government resisted of releasing that. They're saying it's under investigation. And then when the government went in, they were still baffled because the door was closed from the inside, and it makes sense to why you hear scratches at the door handle, because one of the crew members tried to open the door and they couldn't because it was locked from the inside. So pretty much it was, and there's only one captain. There was 2 captains, but there was only one captain that actually really that was left. There was one skeleton. The other one was the one that the ETs took in on their ship. He's safe. They was on a different ET ship. The information is all there. All that will be released very, very soon. So you don't have to worry about that. But that is pretty much the gist of everything for MH370. Sadly, those 11 people who passed. And I'm talking about the 12, but I'm talking about the 11 people who were there that didn't need to pass like that. They're on the other side. They're safe. They're doing very well. They're actually happy, if anything. They just want this information to be out there for you guys to understand what actually happened. And to understand that it was murder. Yeah. He really made sure to make a big splash and make a huge situation. But because this was involved with ETs, the information, the data is all limited, extremely limited. You won't be able to hear a lot of things. But the people who are saved, all 226 of them, will come back down and they'll be able to tell their stories. So I think that's it. I believe so. Yeah, I feel like that's everything. Alrighty, y'all. You have a nice day or night.